Hey everyone, John Lee here, aka the Property Shark. Today, we're gonna show you exactly how you can become a licensed real estate agent in Canada. Now, I know most of you are thinking, John, there's a lot of videos out there on this topic already. Why are you doing another one? Well, the reason being is a lot of these videos are catered to our neighbors across the border in the United States. So I wanted to go in depth and dive deep today to show you exactly step by step how you can become a licensed real estate agent across Canada in every single province. Now, without further ado, let's get into it. For those of you that don't know me, I currently live in Vancouver, British Columbia, and I'm a licensed realtor myself, and there are a couple of minimum requirements that you have to meet before you can become a real estate agent. The number one thing that you have to be and satisfy is to be a Canadian resident. Now that can mean that you have a residency permit, you have your PR card, or a work permit would suffice as well. Number two, most important thing, you have to be proficient in the language of English, and that's important because we want to make sure that you can protect consumers and you can correctly communicate with them exactly what is involved with the whole real estate process and how it works. Number three thing, you must satisfy a minimum age requirement of at least 18 years old. Last but not least, you must have a GED or at minimum a high school diploma. Now, for a lot of you out there like myself who gone through and did their post-secondary studies, you simply send them a transcript and that would be proficient as well. Now, once you've met all the minimum requirements, the next thing you need to do is to make sure that you contact your real estate board, whichever province you are in. In Canada, it's the Real Estate Board of Real Estate Association of British Columbia. In there, it outlines exactly step by step what it takes to become a licensed real estate agent. So step number two is to take the required courses and education involved. Now in BC, we go through UBC, Sauder School of Business, and we take something called the Trading Services Licensing course. And you have to complete this course within 18 months of when you first registered. In this course, there are a couple of key components that they cover. They'll give you a brief introduction to real estate, what is involved, what it means to be a realtor. There will be some testimonials of real estate agents already practicing the craft in your city, in your province. And then the second component to this course is fundamentals of real estate. It dives into very deep issues and topics around the legalities involved, the law and order of real estate, what is your duty as a real estate agent, what duties and obligations do you have for your clients, buyers, sellers. So it's very important that you go over all of this, and also it goes over the history of real estate in your province as well, and in fact all over Canada as well. And the last component is the math component. Yes, there's a math component when you're taking the licensing course in British Columbia. There will be a calculator that you will have to use in order to carry out these math calculations, mostly around accounting and figuring out interest rates and things of that nature. So this is the hardest component that most people find, is the math component actually. To give you some perspective, it took me about 2.5 months to really dive deep and focus on the material at hand and to go over all the content before I was ready to write and give my real estate exam. And while I was doing that, I was also working a part-time job as well. So definitely, 3 to 4 months if you're working a full-time job. If you really commit to it, you can get through this no problem. There is a minimum requirement of 70% for you to pass this real estate licensing course, and from personal experience, it shouldn't be too hard to do, because if you do put in the hours to study and you also complete all the sample examination questions. There's a booklet about 1,000 questions. Highly recommend you go through that before you take your exam. If you go through that and you dive deep through every single question, you should be prepared. And if you don't get on the first try, don't be discouraged. I've met a lot of real estate agents who are doing absolutely well. They're crushing it out there, but they've taken the exam twice, maybe 3 times as well. So don't be discouraged, I would say, and don't be overwhelmed. You can do this, okay? So once you finish your trading licensing course, now is a time that you have to apply for the applied practice licensing course. And prior to doing that, you have to figure out what type of real estate sales you want to be involved in. There is a component for residential and there is a component for commercial as well. So it's absolutely critical that you figure out. Personally, I chose the residential route, so I did applied practice course of residential real estate trading services, and I've known some people who did the commercial side of the exam. So there are 2 routes that you got to pick depending on your situation, what you want to focus on. I picked the residential route. So you register for that course, and there are a couple of other steps that you have to satisfy. Number 1, you have to fill out a licensing application. Number 2, this is the time where you go around and you interview local brokerages. I really recommend everyone, when starting out, to work with a brokerage that is within close proximity to your home. And the reason why I say that is because most likely when getting started out, it's the easiest way for you to start with the areas that you're familiar with. And what better area to start than where you call home and where you live. You know all the parks, you know all the restaurants, you know all the streets, most of the streets in the neighborhood in proximity. Personally, I went to interview about 6 brokerages before I decided upon the one that I'm currently at, which is Sutton office out here in the Surrey area. And it really depends. I would really look at a couple things when I'm picking at brokerages. Number 1, the most important thing is the support that you have. How is your experience talking to the managing broker? What other support systems do they have in place? Number 2 thing I would look at is what trainings and education do they provide their real estate agents? Again, when you get started out, it could get overwhelming. So you want to make sure you have the support, but you want to also make sure that you have the training in place to help you and guide you, speed up this process of learning so you can get out there, crush it as a real estate agent. Last but not least, always track your numbers. I would really break down the cost of being licensed at each individual brokerage. And sometimes it's not really about what they give you up front. They might give you a couple months free and some for sale signs and some name cards, but you also have to factor in the deal fee that each brokerage takes, as well as the brokerage fees on a monthly basis. Again, it varies by brokerage to brokerage, so it's really important that you sit down, crunch some numbers, figure out what makes sense to you number-wise before you commit to a brokerage. And after you do that, you also have to do a criminal record check. Again, they just want to make sure that you're clean and you've done nothing shady. And again, that's to protect the consumers out there. And you need a photo of a government issued ID. And last but not least, don't forget about the licensing fee as well. So once you have all of these things sorted out, you have to commit to a brokerage before you can do your applied practice trading services course, because you're actually going to be completing this part of the course while you're licensed as an agent, while you're out there working and doing your real estate practices. This is when you will complete the trading services applied practice course. And you would have to complete this component in about maximum of 6 months. I would say if you have a great brokerage that you work at, you have a great managing broker, great people, realtors even at your office who can help you out, it should be pretty easy and fast for you to fast track it and complete it. So Once you complete the applied practice course portion and you have submitted and satisfied all the other conditions within the 6 months, then you become a fully licensed real estate agent. So that is the whole process of the overview of exactly step by step how to be a licensed real estate agent in any province in Canada. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video. If you have any further questions, I'm always here to help. Definitely leave your comments below. Give this video a thumbs up and subscribe. Don't forget to subscribe for more awesome content. You know, I'm going to be dropping more knowledge bombs more knowledge bombs, not bombs. Knowledge bombs on a daily basis around real estate, mindset, business, investing, everything combined. I want to document my journey to as a real estate agent. So you definitely don't want to miss out, and be sure to tune in for the next video. All right, take care guys. It's John Lee again, aka the Property Shark, and we'll see you next time. Bye.